Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. أما بعد أحبتي في الله السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أسأل الله كريم رب العرش العظيم أن يتولنا في الدنيا والآخرة. أحبتي في الله, I wanted to talk about very quickly something which can be sensitive to some people, but it's very important for those choosing a wife. The Prophet ﷺ said, Ya ma'ashara shabab, man istata'a minkum man istata'a minkum al-ba'a falyatazawwaj. O youth, those from amongst you who are able to marry, then they should do so, meaning the ability physically or the ability financially, both. So Islam encourages us to marry. And the Prophet ﷺ mentioned that a woman is married for four things. And he said, so strive to marry the woman for good religion. So what I wanted to talk about, which is sensitive, is marrying female devils. And something is very important, ahabatifillah, that you choose righteous, good women. And vice versa. This goes for the women in choosing a good man. And we'll talk about that in another sitting. But choosing a female devil, the problem with this, ahabatifillah, I don't care how beautiful she looks, I don't care how she charms you and what have you before you marry, you will a lot of times see indications that someone has some severe problems that can lead to severe evil. And sometimes it's mental health issues. So we're not saying bad things about people with mental health. Everyone struggles with different issues. But however, those can be signs, because you have to think about, is this woman going to be a woman who's going to be suitable for raising children? Is she going to take care of my household? Is she going to be trustworthy? A female devil, as in some of the cases we've witnessed, there are female devils who will go outside the marriage, unfortunately. And this is becoming more common, it seems, in all cultures. And we could name cultures, and we're not going to. These are not reverts. These are people born Muslim, Muslim societies, Muslim families, Muslim Sharia in their countries that they've had, but they're human. They sin. As the Prophet ﷺ said, all the children of Adam make mistakes or commit sins, and the best of those who repent. So when a woman breaks that trust, this is a sign of a great and severe evil, that she stepped outside the boundaries that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's limit. She's not only not safeguarded perhaps your home, she's not safeguarded herself, which is an immense trust. And so with this being the case, there are those brothers who get in those kinds of scenarios, in those situations. So it's very important to look at character traits before marriage, that a lot of times in many of those cases, and we've seen many, you will see indications before marriage. You'll see that some looseness. You'll see some extreme aspects in character. You'll see some flaws in things that can be an indication that this person will not be a trustworthy spouse. And what happens, and I know scenarios without getting detailed, where they've had children and so forth, and then the woman has gone crazy and went to the club and this and that and the other, has boyfriends, committed zina and stuff like that outside the marriage. And this is a devastation. And this is becoming more prominent, as I said, in our societies. So watching and understanding who you're marrying, as the Prophet ﷺ mentioned, is very important. It's very important to know something about the background, something about the family. If they don't have a family, even if they have a non-Muslim family, you can still see the relationship. What is the relationship between the girl that you want to marry and her parents? Is she still kind of a respectful, good? Does she have good tarbiyah in general? Is she a good and respectful person? If you see that she can be a wild character, well, in the marriage, this is going to be illustrated. Maybe she's going to fight. We've known enough scenarios where the women are very violent, very, very violent women. Not just violent that she flipped out this time, but very violent, burning people, throwing stuff, cutting them, all kind of things like this, and fighting and embarrassing them. So it's very important to know that domestic violence can also happen from two angles, from the male and the female. More commonly from the male, though. So this is also a trait that you should be cognizant of, bi'idhnillah ta'ala, before marriage, because when you step into that marital bond, and for example, if something goes wrong, or if you pass, is this woman going to be a suitable woman for your children? Does she have mental illness? Does she suffer from severe impairment where that could be a problem? She's going to not take care of the children. Or does she suffer from being one step into major sins and another step in the deen, and she's going to go back to those ways and go back to disbelief or leave the deen because of her desires or what have you, and take your children with her. And so it's very important to know and understand and to observe the characteristics and the background and look for signs before entering into the marriage bond. And another case scenario, habatifillah, that we're seeing also is some of the women are very harmful after divorces to the children, punishing them, torturing children because the child reminds them of their father. And likewise, this can happen on the other, reminds the mother, the ex-wife, of the father of the children. And so she can punish and harm and lose any mercy. And if you don't marry a woman of religion, maybe you marry a woman of sihr, that she does witchcraft. There are women who stoop to that. Maybe they don't in the beginning, but then they reduce themselves to that and they leave Islam and they go to kufr and they start doing witchcraft. Anything because of their simple hasad and their gratification in this dunya, they begin to do the most evilest and wicked of things. And so it's very important, habatifillah, be aware of the type of woman that you are choosing to marry. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Almighty, to accept our good and forgive our evil. Help us all, protect us all, preserve us all, and help the Muslim ummah in general to be on ta'ati rahman. Wa sallallahu wa sallam ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam.